everybody doing? My name is Mike, and here we got Mr. Maverick. Today we're going to talk about a little bit about potty training. So it's important for a dog like this. He's 3 months old, or working on 4 months here. You want a crate that is going to be just big enough for the dog. You do not want a huge crate. The reason is you do not want the dog wandering in and around the crate and kind of getting itself spiked up. You don't want to put toys or anything like that in the crate. You don't want the crate to be an excited place. You want the dog to just be the right size of the crate. That's why if you have a dog like this that's going to get larger, you're going to want to buy a large crate. So they'll actually put another piece in the crate, which is the crate divider. And what you can do, this is a wood crate I built, but if we had a divider, we could slide a piece in right here so the dog only has this much of the crate. That way he's not running around doing any nonsense. He has just enough room to do what he's doing right now, which is lay down and relax. So that's one piece of the puzzle, is just having a crate that's going to be the appropriate size for the dog. With the divider, you can then move the divider back. As the dog gets bigger and older, you can move the divider back so the dog has a little more room. So the strategy we use for potty training is when I first get this dog here, is I get him, I bring him in the home, and with any dog we train, it's always the same formula. We use a crate, we teach them place, and we always have them on a leash. So if the dog's always going to be in one of those three places: in the crate, on place, or with me on the leash. This is how you train any dog. Hey, this is how you train any dog. Hey, since he's licking the crate, I'm just telling him no, and I'm just giving him a little poke. Hey, you don't want to let them lick things. The next step is they're going to start biting it. So we want those three things to kind of create the picture we want for the dog, which is we want them to relax. So we don't want the dog excited all the time. So this is why you have to teach your puppy obedience. You have to teach them how to sit and lay down and do all those things to keep them calm in the house. You must keep a leash on your puppy. If you don't have a leash on them, then they're going to have access to free roam your house. You're not going to have any kind of control over them without a leash. They got 4 legs. They can run much faster than you. They'll always use that to their advantage. So what I do is I get the dog in the home. We're using those 3 things all the time. We teach the dog a bathroom command, and we take the dog out every hour to see how often is the dog peeing, what color is the urine. If it's clear, we know the dog's hydrated, don't give any more water. Things like this to help the picture for the dog. We also take the dog to an area where other dogs have gone so they can smell the urine and the feces. This is why we don't recommend puppy pads or anything like that. They scent those with urine and feces, which makes your house smell like that and makes the dog want to go in the home. That's what we use outside to trigger the dog. That's what we use outside. We also want to teach the dog to go away from the home. We travel away for you to use the bathroom. You don't go here. We travel away from the home. So once we start doing all these things at the same time, it becomes very clear for the dog. And the truth is, it's actually pretty easy to potty train dogs. They already want to go outside. In the wild, they have a den, and they naturally don't want to go in their den in the wild. So a lot of people say their dog's trained, and the only thing they ever think about when people think about training, they think of potty training, which, like I said, it's one of the easiest things to do. Your dog actually does want to go outside. If you're having trouble with potty training, the chances are you're not familiar with true dog training and just don't know the simple rules that you can follow to really help the dog. Like I said, structure is huge. You got to teach a dog how to sit and lay down anyway. So the first 6 months to a year of the dog's life, you're going to have a leash on that dog. The dog is going to use a crate when you're sleeping, when you're away from the house. And for a dog that, even when you're not away from the house, I would just throw this dog in the crate when I'm sitting on the couch, because he has a severe barking problem. That's another video. He has a severe barking problem. So I just throw him in the crate when I'm hanging out on the couch. That way I can discourage him from barking. You know, he needs to learn that I can put you here and I can be over there. And barking is not going to get my attention. It's not going to get you out or where you want to go. So You don't want the dog without a leash on. A lot of dogs excited pee. It's not so much for this dog, but if the dog's peeing before you get outside, the dog, chances are the dog's excited. The owner described that to me. The dog would like pee, before they would go outside. Well, if you don't have a leash on the dog and the dog's not in heel, he's going to be excited. You got to give him a job 100% of the time. These are things we do over and over again with different dogs. That works, so you want to have a crate that's going to fit the dog just right. Take the dog out every hour, and then you can start to reduce it from there. That's a new puppy. Then we can start to reduce it from, okay, let's do every 2 hours, every 3 hours. How much food are you feeding? Hey, how much food are you feeding, and how often is the dog pooping? The dog should only poop about twice a day. A lot of people I meet, they're overfeeding their dogs. I've helped a lot of owners avoid exploratory surgeries with vets just by reducing the amount of food the dog gets. So we also have to look at food also impedes the potty training process. So your dog's processed food, if you're feeding your dog kibble, processed food, when your dog eats that food expands. It expands in their belly, it pushes on their bladder. So after the dog eats, you may have a lot of accidents because that food is not helping you potty train the dog. So when you have a puppy like this, I would feed him and then take him out 5 minutes after he's eaten. He probably can't hold it 20 minutes because that food expanding on his bladder, and they already have a small bladder, right? And they haven't developed this muscle to hold it. So all those things mixing together, they start having accidents. We don't want the dog going in the house. If the dog goes in the house 2, 3, 4 times, he's starting to imprint that behavior. So if you get the idea, we have to make it real clear for the dog, and they should get it right away. I mean, this dog within 2 days, he hasn't had any accidents. I believe he's had 1, maybe 2 accidents. And again, that was me just kind of learning. The dog had eaten and went fairly soon after that. And for me, that said, okay, the food expanding on the bladder is a hard time for him to hold it. And down. He's young, so he hasn't had time because he's not old enough to hold that muscle and start developing the muscle. So that's what we consider true potty training, is the dog can hold it 8 to 10 hours, and the dog has developed a muscle from proper potty training to actually hold it longer and longer. If you listen to the process I described, 1 to 2 hours, 3 to 4, we start expanding how long the dog can hold it. That develops a muscle, just like weightlifting. You build that muscle to make it bigger and stronger. You can do that with the dog, and that's how we get the dog to do true potty training. So again, the true potty training is the dog has developed the muscle from proper potty training to hold its urine and feces. So he's doing a very good job. He came to me for some potty training. He's doing a real good job with it, and it's just you have to put them on a strict schedule, make it very clear for them. If you don't know these simple things to do with the dog, these simple rules to follow, it will become a nightmare and it will be difficult. So if chances are, if you're just not aware of those things, it's going to be a lot harder for you. So start implementing those things. I have tons of videos on potty training, so check out the other videos and start implementing those things with your puppy. And this should be done from day 1 with every puppy. If you didn't do it from day 1, you made it harder on yourself or whoever is going to train the dog. So go ahead and get to it and start putting that puppy on a schedule. Watch what you're feeding it. Use a crate, play, start using a bathroom command, keeping the dog in heel when you're going to go outside. And make sure you're taking the dog out at what would be like a crucial time after we fed the dog, right before they go to bed, right when they get up in the morning, those times where they've had to hold it. It's important to give them the proper amount of opportunity to go to the bathroom. And he's doing a good job. That's why I'm massaging him right now. If you have a puppy, it's important to teach them to stay calm. And so it's important how you interact with them. And if you do it in an excited manner all the time and you roughhouse with the dog, you're going to have an excited dog. If you do it in a calm manner, we teach a dog to be calm like this and give him a massage, so I'm a powerful, calm, positive presence, then you're going to have a balanced, healthy dog.